Her body was found in a septic tank 3 months after spending the night with the white man. The restless spirit of 21-year-old Agnes Wanjiru is still crying for her justice up till this day. This case is a very sad and annoying one. It might just be the most annoying story you would have ever heard. A case where the identity of the killer is known by the authorities, both the British authorities and the Kenyan authorities, but yet up till this day, he still walks free. It's unclear why, but could it be because he's a white man, or could it be because the victim is a black woman from a poor background in Kenya? And the sad part about this murder case is that after this white British soldier killed, mutilated, and threw this woman's body into a septic tank, he was able to get out of the country free. And then when he got to his own country, he went on Facebook and began making jokes with his friends about coming to Africa, beating up and murdering a Kenyan woman. Boy, oh boy, the things white people get away with. Agnes Wanjiru was a 21-year-old hairdresser in Kenya. She was also a mother of a little girl at the time. Her life was just that of a single mother trying to make ends meet, trying to make money to feed, clothe, and simply take care of her daughter. And of course, hairdressing alone was not going to foot the bill of raising a child all by herself. And so, sometime in March of 2012, Agnes' friend reached out to her, telling her of a job where they could both make quick money. When Agnes asked for the details of the job, the friend explained to her that a group of white soldiers in a camp that was based in Nanyuki, there where she lives, were throwing some kind of a party at the hotel and they needed company. Knowing that they were going to get paid in foreign currencies and knowing that, okay, this was something that could fetch her good money, Agnes agreed to go with her friend. Now, put in mind that there is a base, there's a camp in Kenya where British soldiers are sent to yearly to undergo some kind of training for 8 weeks. And the camp was close to a very notable hotel there in the town, known as the Lions Court Inn. That is the hotel that the British soldiers frequented. That is where they go to have fun and entertain themselves. And that was the hotel Agnes and her friend were coming to keep these men company. So when the day came, Agnes went with her friend. It was a typical get-together with British soldiers basically everywhere in the hotel, and a lot of girls from the locals coming around to keep them company. It was not unusual, it was not new, it was something that was done on a regular basis. Seeing that the British camp was very close to the hotel, it was common knowledge that they would come there to have good time with women from the community. And this day was just like one of those days. So there they were, the soldiers, the music, they were at the bar, drinking, chatting, getting to know each other. And, you know, it's just like every hookup would be like at the hotel. So when Agnes meets a soldier whose name has not been published even up to this day, but I tell you something, the authorities know his name. However, his name is not known to the public, but he's called Soldier X. So Agnes meets this particular British soldier and they start talking, and eventually the man takes her to his room, somewhere in the ground floor, I presume. So expectedly, they were supposed to have fun and he was supposed to pay her, and you know, by the next morning, she was supposed to go back to her life. But that was not what happened. Because what really happened inside that room with the white man and Agnes, up till this day, no one knows. However, when morning came, Agnes' friend, tried to reach Agnes and let her know that it was time to go. But she couldn't find Agnes. She didn't see Agnes. Agnes never came out of the hotel. So she assumed that Agnes had gone home. And so she went home, and that was how Agnes became a missing person. And her case was reported to the police. The police began this missing person case, and for months, they kept trying to find Agnes. They were able to trace her last movement to the hotel and her spending time with a particular British soldier. And so it was kind of like the police looking for this woman. They would interview the staff, they would interview her friends, they would interview her parents. Eventually, when they narrowed it down to the fact that she went into a room with a particular soldier, they knew they had to start asking the soldiers at the camp if they had seen the woman. So the police took their questioning and their search into the British camp there at Nanyuki, and they began questioning. There were so many soldiers in the camp, about 60 to 70, if not up to 100 of them. It's a very large camp. So talking to each of them if they remember anything from the incident, not many of them would speak, not many of them would remember, but eventually the police investigation led them to a particular soldier who remembered Agnes and instantly told them that Agnes' body is in a septic tank in the hotel. It took them 2 months to get to this point. Eventually, when they went back to the hotel, they went back to the septic tank, and that was where they saw Agnes' floating, decomposing body. Finally, after 2 months, the missing young woman has been found. And instantly, it turned into a case of homicide. It turned into a case of murder. The Kenyan courts ordered an inquiry into her death, and it was established that she was murdered by a British soldier. It was now time to start investigating who did it, why they did it, and how to bring this person to book. Now, it's not clear what the police investigation did. The Kenyan police did their investigation, they had their entire document, and so the story that we know now about what may have happened to Agnes was a research done by the Sunday Times. After getting copies of the Kenyan police investigation so far, journalists from the Sunday Times also started doing their own investigation. And that was when they reached out to the soldier Y, that is the soldier who told the police about where Agnes' body was found. And this particular soldier began spilling. Like, he spilled and told the journalist everything that they needed to know about the death of Agnes to the best of his knowledge. First of all, the soldier told them who did it. He called the name of the soldier. They even spoke to other soldiers in the camp, and about 8 of them mentioned the same person, that he was the one who did it to Agnes. But what is bad is, at the time this came out, the soldiers who were brought down there for the 8 weeks training had already gone back to their country, including the soldier who had killed and thrown Agnes' body into the septic tank. So clearly this is no longer the Kenyan police case. It is now going to involve the British security and police agents, because the person that committed this murder is now back in England. But according to what the journalists were able to gather, it was said that that night that Agnes went into this room with this particular soldier, although not much was known, but somewhere around 2 a.m. it was said that the soldier came out of his room telling his other colleagues, who were also fellow soldiers, that he had killed her and that they should help him. When they were like, who did you kill and what happened? He said he killed the girl he took into the room. When they asked him why and where she is, thinking maybe they could help her, thinking maybe she wasn't dead, the guy took his colleagues, about 8 of them, and showed them where he had dropped the girl's body into the septic tank. So he had already killed Agnes and had already thrown her body into the septic tank before he even went to meet his colleagues. Now, a particular source did claim that he told them that they were having some kind of raunchy, wild moment where he was practicing, he was choking her, he was doing some kind of BDSM, and that was how she died, and he got scared and threw her body there because he was afraid. And that was what majority of the soldiers knew at the time, and even when he told them, they all went back to their camp, none of them said anything. They all kept quiet. They all kept it silent. They all said, oh, okay, this is kind of like our secrets. Including the soldier Y that is spilling all this tea and telling the journalists everything. He too said that he was of the opinion that that was what happened. However, when he learned that when Agnes' body underwent autopsy and that it was discovered she was stabbed multiple times and that was what caused her death and not choking, that was when he realized, okay, this wasn't an accident like the guy had earlier claimed. And so he too was ready to spill the beans and tell everyone everything that they needed to know. Another part of the investigation was from the security man at the hotel that day. The security claimed to remember that on that night that Agnes supposedly went missing, he saw 3 British soldiers hurriedly leaving the hotel building. Like, they were scared, they were worried, and he did not think much of it. But when he went to inspect the room that he saw them coming out from, he noticed that the room was scattered. There were broken bottles on the floor, and the window glasses were also broken. And the security man said that it was obvious that a fight had happened in that room. But it's not clear who the fight was about. Was it Agnes fighting with the soldier man? Or could there have been more than one person trying to force this woman and in the process, all of these glasses broke. It is not clear the processes that led to Agnes being stabbed the way she was and killed like that. But checking the history of a lot of these soldiers, they are notorious for having group orgies with women that they pay for this kind of acts. And so a lot of people have speculated that maybe Agnes thought she was going to be with just this particular man. But when she went into the room, she realized that this was some kind of group thing. And when she tried to revolt and protest, it led to a fight, and in which she couldn't defend herself. And eventually, that happened. But that would suggest that more than one person did this to her. But since everyone is saying it was just that particular soldier, then there's a chance that maybe something else happened in the hotel that no one knows, apart from Agnes, that soldier, and God. But from my own thought and my own perspective, judging by the fact that it's been nearly 11 years and the British authorities have not arrested or sent this man back to Kenya to get punished for what he did, clearly they are protecting him. And if they are protecting him, there is a possibility that he might not be the only one involved. I'm guessing if they bring this man out for questioning, he might call out names of people who may have been involved. And aside that, even if he doesn't call people who may have been involved, this soldier Y, who was telling everything, claimed that even after they went back to their camp, he told the person in command, he told their chief commander at the camp that a particular soldier here had killed a woman, but he was threatened and told to keep quiet. However, when the police started coming with questioning, he was happy to spill the beans. He was happy to tell all. While all this case was going on, Agnes' family, the entire Kenya community, they are calling out for justice for Agnes. They are protesting. They are fighting and asking the Kenyan government and the British government to bring that man that killed Agnes to face the law. Why does he get to do this and then make fun of it on Facebook and nothing happens to him? Even when the Sunday Times say that when they were trying their own investigation, they got to this man's house and the man shouted at them to leave his premises. So they know who this man is. They know where he stays. They know what he had done. But what is stopping the British authorities to bring him to book? What are they hiding? What are they protecting? Because if you ask me, I guess it's not just this man that would suffer if he's called to answer questions. Even the soldier White said that the British authorities have not called him to ask him questions. Nobody has carried out investigation on this case. Maybe they've heard the story and they've known and they've realized that the killing of Agnes Wanjiru was most possibly carried out by more than one soldier, and that is why they're trying to not go into this case. Because what would it look like for the British soldiers to be on the news that 6, 7 or 8 of them tried to gang up on a particular young lady and she got killed in the process? What would it look like for them? Because if it was only that man that did it, nothing would have stopped the British authority from sending him back to Kenya to face the music. But why is it taking 11 years? Why is it taking this long for the British authority to look into this case and do what is right by the family of Agnes Wanjiru? The story of Agnes Wanjiru is a very painful one. It's a very hurtful one because up to now, no justice. Up to now, still a struggle. Up to now, the authorities haven't done anything. It's not even that they don't know who he is or where he stays. The information is out there. We don't know his name, but they know his name. They know where he stays. They've seen his Facebook post making fun and laughing about how he came to Kenya, choked an African woman, killed her, and threw her in a septic tank. And he had series of comments in the post with other soldiers laughing as well. How does a white man come into an African country, kill an African woman, and then go back to his own country to make fun of it on Facebook, and then nothing happens to him? How? Are we going to blame the Kenyan authorities? Or is the British government and the Kenyan government trying to save face? Is the Kenyan government trying to, let this one slide because, Agnes was just a regular girl? Throughout the entire news, when you read about the story of Agnes Wanjiru, they kept calling her a prostitute, a sex worker, a whore, trying to probably reduce her chances of being seen as a human being who was killed and deprived of justice. Because I don't know why the Kenyan government is not pushing and putting enough pressure on the British authorities. 11 years is a long time. Or have the Kenya government been paid off, settled? Why is no one talking about it? Why is no one doing anything? Why is everyone quiet about the death of Agnes Wanjiru? Why is it taking so long to arrest one white man for killing an African woman? Why? Because we all know if it's a black man that kills a white woman in that country, he's going to go down. So why is the British authorities not doing everything they can to bring this man to book? Why are they protecting him? Because obviously, if he's not being protected, we would have known his name by now. We would have seen his pictures by now. There is no picture of him, no name of him. He's just being called Soldier X, Soldier Y. And the worst part is that every colleagues of this man who witnessed him that they say he killed her and showed them the woman's body, they are all willing to speak, but they haven't been approached by anyone. They haven't been reached out to by the authorities. And they are surprised as to why isn't the British authorities trying to call them to get answers. Because they've spoken to the press, they've spoken to the journalists, it's all out there. But why is the authorities not taking the case up? What is the British government trying to hide? And why are they protecting this man? It's just unfortunate, it's just sad, and very pathetic and very telling too. But what we know for a fact is this story will not stop coming up until the British authorities do what is right by Agnes. I wish we can start a campaign on the internet again and request justice for Agnes Wanjiru. Let the whole world know the story. Let the whole world hear it. Let the whole world see what is happening. It's not like we don't know who the killer is. We know. They know, because I don't even know. They know the killers, but they are protecting him. It's just unfortunate, and I am so angry and enraged at this story. And I hope you are too, because nothing is more painful than someone getting away with murder because of the color of their skin. Nothing. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like this video, share, comment your thoughts, and let me know what you think about this whole story, because honestly, it's upsetting.